Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to Dad's Reaction. Today I am reacting to Bill Burr and why he thinks women are overrated. And I'm looking forward to this. I've not really watched any Bill Burr. I've seen a couple of short clips of his and some of the things that he says that are funny. But I've had a lot of people saying that I should watch his stuff. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to watch some of his stuff. This is an interview from the Conan show. I don't know if that's American or Canadian, but it's the Conan show. I'm looking forward to it. If you like it, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. I will be uploading daily, so let's get into it.
Your show, F is for Family, I relate to it because it's about parenting in the 70s, and that's, that was when I was parented like you. What do you think of parents now? How do you compare them to parents in the 70s?
Oh, it's just completely, the kids have so much power. It's like ridiculous. Like half of these kids, I'm like, I look and I just have what happened to me. And I'm like looking at a kid and be like, this kid's about ready to get punted across the grocery store. And it just never happens.
Right.
They just don't get hit. And I think it's hurting this country.
You're mad. Wait a minute.
No, like.
Let's get this. You're mad that children are not being hit.
This should be the threat of it. Half of it was just that, look, it was just your dad was acting like he was going to do it. He never did it, but your mother did. And because she was a woman, it was like, okay. Because it was like, hey, you let a girl beat you up, you kind of felt emasculated.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Honestly, that's true though. It's the case that, like, growing up, my dad never really disciplined us in any way. He never hit us. He never did. All he really wanted to do was come home from work and sit there and watch the TV. He didn't really give a crap what we done. He didn't care if we tidied up or anything. As long as his little corner with the TV was all right. But my mum, on the other hand, my mum was one of these that she never hit us. She never had to hit us because her voice just done it. We knew that, like, we would push her buttons to the point where we knew she was going to blow, and we didn't really want to see what happened when she blew. So that's when it come to a point where we'll do what we needed to do. But yeah, I do think that kids nowadays have got it far too easy. And I don't hit my daughter, but the thing is that I will discipline my daughter, and there's ground rules and she knows not to step over it. And like I said, I don't hit her. All I can really do is with my voice and like things like that. But yeah, she knows she's under manners at the moment. She's trying it. She's at that age now where she's getting that attitude and she's trying it. But yeah, kids do have a lot more freedom today. It
was like, okay, because it was like, hey, you let a girl beat you up, you kind of felt emasculated.
Yeah.
We had a rule, like, a lot of the stuff that I look at from when I was a kid that actually kind of made sense in a way would now be considered like abuse, I guess. Like when I was a kid, if you didn't finish your supper, as we called it.
Supper, yeah.
Yeah, my mother was just like, well, you're gonna finish, she would just wrap it in cellophane and you just picked up where you left off for breakfast. Like a blue collar job. Like you take the shovel out of the hole and just start digging it again. So, yeah, I remember one night we had cube steaks, which is like one of the toughest pieces of meat. I don't know if you guys, everything's so like Asian infused Wagyu beef. Everybody's eating that crap now, but cube steak was like, literally had to hit it with a hammer to make it like edible. And so we were having cube steaks, and I forget, my little brother was still in a high chair, and he couldn't finish his. So my mother goes, all right, we're just gonna have to eat it for breakfast. And that was like 8 hours away, which was like half his life. So he's like, all right, I'll take that deal.
I tell you what, this is the thing that pisses me off nowadays with kids. And I've seen a lot of households do it, and I've seen a lot of parents do it. Parents that, I keep looking at that camera, and I should be looking at this one. Parents will go into the kitchen to make dinner, and they will make 2 or 3 different meals because one kid doesn't like this and one kid doesn't like that and things like that. I hated it. When I was a kid, it was the case that you get what you're given. If you don't like it, then the next meal comes in a few hours. That's when you get fed again. But it was the case that if you don't like it, tough, starve. And I hate it now that, like, even tonight, my daughter had a pizza tonight and it had the smallest little peppers on it. Now, if we ordered that from Pizza Hut, she would have had no problem eating it because it was ordered from a restaurant. But because it was a pizza from a supermarket that we put in the oven, oh no, she wouldn't have it. But whereas with me, I would like, right, eat it or starve. Like, the wife would then pick out the little bits of pepper and that for her, and that's the difference of opinion in parenting. With me, I do have that old style mentality that a lot of parents back then had. This new form of parenting for me is just, it's a lot of bollocks.
So the next morning, I remember we were having waffles. My mother always made Sunday breakfast, so we had all these waffles, eggs, bacon, this whole layout. My brother was looking at half-eaten cube steaks and a little mound of green bean casserole. And he goes, so he looked at my mom, he goes, Mom, can I have a waffle? And she goes, no, you got to finish your supper. He's like, well, after I finish my supper, then can I have a waffle? She goes, no, that is your breakfast. And he goes, oh, Mom, I hate you. And my dad, without looking up, took a full glass of milk and threw it in his face. Swear to God.
Okay.
This is what kills me. What kills me.
You want everyone today to have as miserable a childhood as you had.
No, but it was kind of funny. We know what's hilarious was my mother just popped up and just immediately started cleaning up, and my dad just kept eating. Like he didn't like the roles were defined back then. Now the guy has to throw the milk, he has to clean it up while telling his wife she's brave for just sitting there. Like whatever that is. Can you hear it? Oh, you know. Women are so overrated, right? We went from we went from not listening to them to now it's ridiculous. Like that Believe women. It's like all of them. How about 85%? I'll give you 87%, all right? But that last 13% that keys your car, lights your shit on fire, and puts a family pet in a pot of stew.
Who put a pet in a pot of stew?
Glenn Close.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I think it was a separately boiled.
You know what I miss? I miss tougher parenting and evidence. Those are the things that I miss from my childhood.
I tell you what, that's the thing, and like kids nowadays are given too much leeway, they're given too much freedom, and it's come to like kids don't feel that they're disciplined anymore. They don't fear their parents, and obviously you don't really want kids to fear you, but you want kids to understand that there's certain points, there's certain marks that you can't overstep, and if you do, that's when the mentality for a parent's going to change. But nowadays it is just the case that you can tell your kid till they're blue in the face that like to do something, and they're not going to do it. And what can you do? That like most parents are scared to discipline their kids now because they don't know what other people are going to say, what the neighbours are going to say, and things like that. With me, my mentality is like, I don't give a crap. That like if I'm going to shout, my wife hates when I shout at my daughter. That I'm one of these that if you're playing with something, if you've gone up into your room and you've got a toy and you've brought it downstairs and you're playing with it, once you're finished, you take it back upstairs. You don't leave it there. If you come home from school and you take your shoes off, you don't leave them in the rug. And that's why I tell her, do it. If I have to tell her 3 times to do it, that's when my voice goes up and things like that. And she does it. But for other people, she won't do it. She'll just carry on playing and she'll roll her eyes and attitude.
Tougher parenting and evidence. Those are the things that I miss from my childhood.
Evidence.
Yeah.
You mean
Due
people...
process.
Right.
Somebody says something happened, and then someone else goes, well, I said it happened this way, like the old gumshoe shows. Then they had to figure it out.
Right.
Yeah, that doesn't exist now on social media. It's just
right.
like it's just frontier justice.
Right.
You feel how nervous everybody just got in here? The fact that I just suggested that there should be due process? This guy's talking crazy, man. Did he just join ISIS?
Yeah.
This is what it is.
What I'm saying.
And then the woos that they agreed, but they didn't agree when it counted.
We'll digitally add woos, don't worry. We have the woo machine. You are way too angry. 50 is still relatively young. You have the anger of a 110-year-old man. All these telephones.
I can't argue.
I enjoyed that, honestly, I did. And the thing is that I think the reason why I enjoyed it is because that like I'm not 50 yet. I'm still 15 years off of that. But I feel that like for me, I've always been an old man. Like even when I was in school, I was an old man. That I used to sit there, like I'd come home from school and like everyone would go out and play with their friends and things like that. I'd be sitting there reading the Sun newspaper, and like after school, like during the holidays and things, like, I used to work in a wholesalers. I was working in a warehouse with my dad, and every day, if you're in the UK, you'll know what this is. It's a newspaper called the Daily Sport, and the Daily Sport is basically just like every page is page 3 from the Sun. and it's all about tit and arse and things like that, and it's all about the latest models or whatever. And I used to read the agony pages. That seriously, like back then I was like 12, 13 years old. I'd sit there and read the agony pages instead. I've always been an old man, and it's the case that like I've looked at a lot of my nieces and nephews being raised, and I'd look at things and think, yeah, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do it like this, and I wouldn't do it like that. And when my daughter was born and things like that, that yeah, there's certain things that my mentality is going back to the parenting of the 80s and the 90s, even though I wasn't really around that much of the 80s, but the 90s and like the way my parents raised me, and yeah, the way kids are brought up nowadays. But with my daughter is really good. That's the thing. Everyone says it about their kids, but like she is. I've only ever had one moment where it was a proper big flip out from her, and it was in the middle of a supermarket at Halloween, and from that I just grabbed her by the arm, dragged her out of the shop. Basically, I was taking her there to get an Halloween costume, and she kicked off kicking and screaming that she wanted a toy instead. And for me, no, we went there for a Halloween costume. That's what we're getting. We're not getting a toy. We came here for a costume. And she kicked off. So grabbed her by the arm, dragged her out, got home. She didn't get her pick. I found one on Amazon, ordered that, done. And that's my form of parenting, whereas I've seen a lot of parents, and I know a lot of parents, that they would have just given and bought it for her because it would have been embarrassing, her screaming in the shop and things like that. Hell no, I don't get embarrassed over nothing. I don't really care. That like people can say what they want, people can think what they want about me. I really don't give a damn, and I will do things the way that I want to do things. But on to Bill Burr. I really enjoyed him. Like I said, I've only ever seen a couple of small clips from him. I've not seen anything more extensive, so this is probably the longest video I've seen of him. I did enjoy it. I'm not going to lie, I did enjoy it, and I thought it was funny. And I'm looking forward to watching some of his stand-up comedy, because I think that's where he's going to shine through the most and be himself. But I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, I apologise if I ramble on about myself and the way I'm a parent or whatever. I do apologise. But if you did like this video, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. I will be uploading daily, so I will see you in the next one.